What is freedom? I'm going to talk about this for just a second. So modern people have this idea that being free means you can do whatever you want. Somebody tells you can't do that, then you're not totally free, right? And, when you're younger, when you're a teenager, maybe you complain about this. He's like, my parents won't let me do such and such. I'm so oppressed. I'm not free. Now, you probably don't think about this because that's probably an obvious definition to you. But what if I told you that ancient people, medieval people too, had a very different idea and definition of freedom? So the sort of ancient idea, this is in the pagan thinkers, many of them, but it's sort of perfected in the Middle Ages with a lot of Christian thinkers weighed in on this, is that the idea of freedom was defined as the ability to pursue becoming your nature, like fulfilling your nature. What does that mean? So if I am a fish is free to the extent that it's able to really be a fish, and a fish lives in water. If a fish decides, I don't want to be in the water, I want to be on the land. Fish on the land is going to die. So these are two conceptions of freedom. The fish thinks, I want to be on the land, and then I get to fulfill that desire. I'm free. Well, with this example, you see how silly that is. I'm giving this kind of ridiculous example because I think that that's how the ancients would view what we talk about with regard to freedom. Freedom is the ability to pursue your nature. You're really most free when you get to be what you are. That's when you're most free. And so let's put it this way. You're a Greek child in 200 BC, running around Athens or whatever. Your culture conceives of you as having a certain nature. And so your parents are going to force you to conform to this nature with schooling, with instruction, with etiquette training, with especially in Athens, with training in politics or in war. Like they send all the men to go have some kind of military training and then to serve in the juries and to be part of the democratic system of Athens. So in other words, the kid's freedom is getting taken away initially because he just wants to run around and goof off and eat sweets and climb on things and get in fistfights with other boys or whatever. And his parents say, no, you can't roll around in the mud, you have to bathe. No, you can't eat whatever you want, you have to eat what's good for you. No, you can't do whatever you want, you have to be trained in all these different ways, etc. And so at one level, this is very oppressive because it's taking away what he wants. But on this other conception of freedom, it's making him, in the long run, the most free person that he can be. Because when he becomes a grown man and he is in command of his behavior and his rhetoric and his training militarily, educationally, politically, etc., now he can be this powerful, high agency man of Athens. And so paradoxically, by removing his freedom, he ultimately becomes more free. Here's a more straightforward example. If you allow a drug addict to have drugs when he's addicted, or addict of anything really, if we fulfill that desire, the addict is not more free. The addict is actually less free because he's a slave to his addiction. So paradoxically, by constraining the addict, sending him to rehab, removing all his freedom, putting him on a schedule, and then, God willing, he's rehabilitated and has a totally transformed life, what happened? Now he's more free. He's more human, we would say, instead of more animal-like, being a slave to his feelings. So the modern conception of freedom, if you go too far with this, or where it goes logically, is slavery. And then the sort of oppressive training, take away the addiction or send the kid to school kind of thing, that paradoxically leads to more freedom.